So with all the talk of, hey, maybe the Vikings will move to a 3-4 this year, Dom Capers in the building, look at the personnel they got, it is around Danielle Hunter, since he would have the biggest transition going from a 4-3 defensive end, hand in the dirt, to a 2-point stance, 3-4 rush outside linebacker, right? So the question is, can 99 cover? Question mark? So it's a good question. Let's dive into it today. So first off, let's establish. So pass rush specialist, outside linebackers in a 3-4, like they don't cover that much, right? You're always typically going to be rushing 4. One of the outside linebackers is going to be one of those 4, right? Also, you have the 3-4 outside linebacker names that we're going to talk about today: Chandler Jones, Bradley Chubb, Khalil Mack, Ryan Kerrigan, T.J. Watt, Zadarius Smith, Von Miller. They don't drop into coverage that much, right? So Chandler Jones led the way last year with 62 coverage snaps, which over a 16-game season, ain't much. That's just a handful per game, right? Zadarius Smith playing that elephant-type role in the Green Bay defense, he only dropped back on 12. The other snaps, he was just slapped around Riley Reef, but yeah, we're there. Now, for reference, again, not apples and oranges, but Anthony Barr, strong side linebacker in the Zimmer 4-3 overfront, dropped back into coverage on 540 coverage snaps last year, which is more than 54. It's like 10 times more. It's crazy, right? And also, for further reference, so Dom Capers, who's been brought in as a regional assistant consultant, he's whatever. The final 2 years that he was in Green Bay as defensive coordinator, running his famous 3-4 scheme, as well as rush outside linebacker shovel-faced Clay Matthews, 2016-2017, 52 only dropped into pass coverage, an average of 37.5 those 2 seasons. So ain't going to happen much, right? So it's not like if the Vikings do move to a 3-4 or at least introduce elements of it into a hybrid front, it's not like they're going to be suddenly covering hundreds of snaps. So that's not going to happen. But it does have to be an element of it, right? You do have to at least have that option, or at least have the offense think about where stand up outside linebacker, especially in zone blitz situations, feigning Danielle up at the line of scrimmage. All of a sudden he drops back into a zone. You bring some stank elsewhere. Ooh, you bring Harrison from the other side. It's pretty sexy. Like one of the most famous plays of this, it happened in the 2008 Super Bowl. So James Harrison, who was a great 3-4 outside linebacker, pass rush specialist, he was great. All damn game, he was rushing Kurt Warner. Then all of a sudden, down into the goal line, he fakes like he's pass rushing. He drops it into zone coverage. Warner wasn't expecting it, threw it right to him, and then James Harrison rumbles 99 to 100 yards for a score right before halftime. Yeah. So it does have to be a part of the game plan. So Danielle Hunter, to his credit, does have some experience in coverage. It's not great experience, but does have 68 career pass coverage snaps over his 5 seasons. It does have a 156.6 quarterback rating when thrown at, which is not great. And the times that Danielle does drop into coverage, it is he's hand in the dirt. All of a sudden, he feigns into coverage. It's a bit of a zone blitz concept, and then drops into coverage, usually against a running back or a tight end that comes into a zone. It's fine. It's whatever. It did give up 9 catches, 133 yards, 2 touchdowns on 11 targets. Hashtag sample size. Yeah. But also, last season, he did drop into coverage 11 times and allowed 0 receptions. Goose egg. So we can surmise, coverage. He ain't becoming Eric Kendricks anytime soon, but also, he doesn't have to be. And if they do make the move, they aren't going to ask him to be either. And if the Vikings do introduce some 3-4 elements, not a full shift, especially in the first year, especially with the truncated offseason, but let's say there are some elements introduced, like his pass coverage snaps will probably go from, his career average of 13.6 per year to 30, 40, maybe, barring a full 3-4 move, right? So specifically, if he trains for it and then gets coaching for it, I think he'll be fine. He's Danielle friggin' Hunter, right? So athletically, he could do it. Coverage-wise, the big testing numbers are the agilities. So agility is key in coverage. So the 3-cone, the short shuttle as well in the agility test. So tests how well you change direction, how good are your hips, how fluid are they, how quick can you accelerate after changing directions, how well do you cut, etc. I mean, the 40 time is whatever, so production value. So looking here, comparing against a bunch of 3-4 outside linebackers as well as Anthony Barr. So 40-wise, Danielle smokes them all. But how many times are you running in a straight line in coverage? Generally, when you're doing that, something terrible has happened. Right. So you can almost discount that, but I just want to include it because 3 columns is better than 2. as well as just showing that Danielle Hunter is a freak athlete. Sure. All right, so the boxes in green are where Danielle tested better, and boxes in red are where the other player tested better. So there you go. So Danielle, 4.57 40, 6.95 nice in the 3-cone, as well as a 4.47 short shuttle. So Anthony Barr, Danielle's got to be in the 40, but Anthony has a clear advantage in the other two agility drills. So, again, 3-cone, short shuttle, agility drills. But also, you look, Chandler Jones, Khalil Mack, Bradley Chubb, Zadarius Smith. So, Danielle has bested them in the 3-cone, or in Zadarius Smith's case, both the agility drills, which is great. And then you look at, I mean, you forget how much of a physical freak Von Miller is, just looking at those absolutely insane numbers, right? So, as you see specifically with Zadarius Smith, who, again, doesn't have great testing numbers, that's why he dropped to, I think it was the 3rd round when he was coming out of Kentucky, despite amazing production, where he absolutely gets it done, even though he benefits from going up against Riley Reif twice a year. And he doesn't, even though he's a 3-4 outside linebacker, he does not drop in coverage a ton, right? So I think that's a similar role to what Danielle Hunter is going to be if they do make the move to a 3-4, or at least introduce some hybrid elements of it. And also, Danielle can hold his own. Like we said, if he's specifically training for it, if he gets coaching for it, I think he would not be a liability. So A, Danielle can do it. And bet against him, I dare you. B, it won't be a major part of his game, even if they do make to a 3-4 push. Like, maybe it doubles his pass coverage snaps over the year, so that adds 2 to 3 more per game. It's not that big of a deal. And C, he's Danielle Hunter. He's Danielle friggin' Hunter. He'll be all right. Don't worry about it. But your thoughts? Can Danielle cover? Question mark. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Pull us on the Venmo. Plus, give us a follow on social media as well. But until next time, Skol, production value.